so much for joining me today. I hope that you are all well and you're having a good day. First of all, I'd like to just say that so sorry for the sort of lack of notice on today's stitch along. As you probably guessed, I hadn't really planned on doing a stitch along today, with it being Saturday and all. But I thought that I was going to be making one of these roses today anyway, because my Nana had requested that I make one to send to her. I figured I'd be making one anyway, and then it just sort of made sense to stream it. But obviously that did mean organising myself a little bit to say, hey guys, this is going to be happening and at what time, etc. So yeah, first of all, apologies on that front, because I know I normally give you a bit more notice and do like a countdown and stuff in case you do want to join live. So I guess this is more aimed at people who might have liked to join and perhaps will be watching this later. But all the same, if you do want to message us for anything that you would have said if you were watching this live, as some of you are now, hi guys, thank you for joining me, then do kind of direct message us instead. We will get back to you. I read all of those myself, so yeah, if you want to say anything, please do, even if you're not watching live. Obviously this video will be shared and will be up on the live stories for at least, well, for 24 hours. So you can enjoy it then, or if you want to come back again. Oh, hi, it's nice to see, oh yes, some familiar names coming to join us again. I think A Sodha, hi, yes, you definitely joined us for Valentino Roses one of the other times, which is really nice to see you coming back. Yeah, just, I woke up this morning and I was a bit, I was in a bit of a funk. And so I didn't really have a plan for the day and was just like, oh, I don't really know what to do with myself. So I did what I always do, which is to go and do some exercise, and I went for a nice run. And whilst I was on that run, I was like, I need to make this rose, and I might as well stream it for you guys. So here we are. As you can see, I have started. So I just started with the centre, and I found this really lovely Ombre chiffon fabric that I had left over from some years ago, and it's just, oh, it's so pretty. Hold on, I'm just going to grab it and show you guys. I mean, look, just look at this. Okay, so it's like sort of purple, and then it heads into this orange up the other end. I mean, yeah, it's like fabric porn. So that's what I used to make this rose out of today. And so I have scaled up my draft a little bit today, because what I wanted to do was to actually make the most of that ombre. And I don't know whether you can see that in my fabric here. It's quite sort of pinky through this bit, and then it gets to being orange, and I'm hoping that's going to make some really lovely sort of colour changes through my rose and give it a bit more depth. Because it's not the first time I've actually used this ombre fabric for making the roses, but when they're that bit smaller, there's not basically enough space for you to notice the colour change in it. So that's why I scaled it up instead, to hopefully make a little bit more of that. We'll see how it goes. Just working my way around. So how's everybody else getting on? What have you been managing to do with yourselves? Did you wake up in a funk like me this morning? And I shouldn't do, because it was the weekend, but you know, if any of us really got a concept of weekends at the moment? It's a little bit of a strange one. Oh, it's so nice that so many of you are joining. That's really sweet of you for popping in to see me today. Nice to have you here. Give us a wave. if you fancy saying hi. It's me, Natasha, that you have probably heard doing all of these videos of recent. And I guess some of you regulars are probably getting to know my voice. Yes, you've lost track of what day it is too. Yeah, I mean, see, I do work during the week, and so that does punctuate my week. But I find that every day is kind of going so quickly that it's, yeah, it's just all a bit odd. And then it comes to weekends and I get a bit lost, and I find myself coming back to doing some of the things that I would have done possibly in the week anyway. But, you know, this is beautiful. It's fun. Does it really matter? No. And, you know, this is going to somebody who I hope will appreciate it, and they obviously have requested it. Oh, hi to all of you who are waving at me. That's so sweet. Thank you. So, you know, it's not time wasted, is it? Any time spent learning or honing a skill is time well spent, I always try and think. So, here I am. For any of you that are new to us, we have recently started doing online classes, and this is one of those classes which is available on our website in full. So if you're enjoying sort of seeing how I started off and the rows in full, and as I mentioned about adaptations that you can make to the design, then do head over to our website and have a little look at the classes we have available. This one is Chiffon Roses that I am doing today. And so with that, there is also the lace applique class, which went up yesterday. So that is brand spanking new for you guys. If you are stuck for something to do this weekend and have already tried some of our other classes, then that is a new one for you that you can get involved with. That looks a little bit like this. There we go. And there is also the Valentino Roses class up on the website. That one is free. If you haven't already got involved with that, do go and enjoy that class. That one's on us. Just a little treat for you guys as through these difficult times. We hope that that's something that you can get involved with, because I appreciate that some people, you know, obviously are having some difficulties at the moment, and you may not want to be spending money on you know, crafts or, I guess, enjoyment things more so than anything else. So if that is your situation, but you enjoy crafting and want to get involved, then that Valentino class is there for you guys for free, which doesn't involve purchasing any kit or anything like that to go with it. You know, I talk about different fabrics that you might have at home, hopefully will, so you can just get involved with what you've got and hopefully make something beautiful. Oh, and I haven't got one of those to hand. Never mind. Head over there and check it out. I'm sure that you will enjoy it all the same. Mybricot, oh, you're having fun with the lace class. Oh, good. I'm glad. That vintage lace that you have got is really lovely. Yes, very jealous of that one. I can't wait to see what you do with it. And I have to say, with the lace applique class, loads of you have already purchased it, which is so lovely and really sort of really does spur us on that you guys are hopefully enjoying the things that we're making at the moment, and yeah, you are making purchases of those, because that does obviously mean an awful lot to us, and we want to obviously supply things that you guys want, because without the community of London Embroidery School people, then, you know, we don't have anything. So hopefully we're doing things that you want. And just as a side note, I just do want to say that we do really appreciate your support, because we wouldn't exist without you guys. The London Embroidery School was only started because people were asking us to do it. As aside from our bespoke embroidery business, I say that like it's mine. It's not my business. I am an employee, but that all the same is how the London Embroidery School was started, by people asking. So yeah, that's the endeavour, is to keep providing things that you guys would like to see and to know about and to have, all of those things. And if you've got any ideas about stuff that you think we should be covering or that you want to see from us, do tell us. Do let me know. As I say, I'm the one who's picking up the Instagram messages and, well, all social media messages actually. So if you've got any ideas that you want to share with us, get in touch. You know, I want to hear from you. I'm just going to do a new thread here. It's starting to run a bit low. Also might have to change my needle in a minute. I'm not sure about it. You know when you pick a needle up and you're just a bit like, oh yeah, this one will be fine, and then it doesn't quite feel right in the hand. Yeah, I think that's sort of where I'm at the moment with it. But who knows, it'll be fine. I'll get another one if I don't like it. Hand monogramming. Okay, cool. Yes, that's one of the things that is on my, I have to say, very long list of classes to put together. But I think that's definitely one that we could manage. I don't know whether you have, this is probably more directed at 54 Chore. Hey, thanks for joining us today. Yes, you were at some of our other stitch alongs, haven't you? Yeah, lovely to have you back again. I don't know whether you have been across onto our YouTube channel, but I have got a couple of videos on there which are a bit kind of like this one today, in a stitch along sort of style, where we're doing things, and not as a full class, but just if you want to sort of check out and watch somebody doing some monogramming, there are some classes on there. No, sorry, they're not classes, that's my point. There are some videos on there for you guys to enjoy if you want to see some people monogramming and stitching a bit like this, really, but in different techniques. That's in our sneak peek section. And yeah, as I say, you can find us on YouTube. We are London Embroidery School on there. And that's another one that's good if you're a little bit strapped for cash at the moment, but you want to get involved in some things. There are lots of free tips from our Pro Tips range on there of things that might just help to elevate your stitching skills a little bit further with what you're already doing. Stuff from us in the studio as professional embroiderers, things that we like to use or like to do. Some of it is about, you know, a particular type of scissors, say, or something like that. But some of it is just about technique and is just us sharing skills and stuff. So yeah, if you're looking for something to do, you might find something of interest on there as well. I have got quite a long tail on my fabric here. Quite a long way to go with this piece. So we'll see how far I get in the time, because obviously Instagram just gives you an hour to work with. And can you believe it? We're already 15 minutes in. So we'll see if I actually get to the end of this one or not. Who knows? But I will, of course, share some pictures of it in the coming days of my finished piece, which I'm sure I'll get done today, but I don't know whether I'll get that online today or not. But yeah, check back in if you want to see this one finished. Or, for example, if you can't stay around for the whole hour. I appreciate you guys are busy people. Don't necessarily need to watch me do the whole thing. But if you want to see how it turns out, then yeah, check back in. And I promise there'll be pictures. Somebody was asking earlier about the chiffon, I think. Sorry, I'm just going to scroll. Stop stitching and scroll back for a second. Somebody asking about... Oh, the gradient on the chiffon. Yeah. Yeah, I'll pop a picture into the story as well once we're done with stitching today, so you guys can see the chiffon as well. If you want to look for something similar, it's not something that we sell, I'm afraid, and I have to say I did buy it some years ago, but all the same I think it's pretty, so I used it. I don't even know if the shop is still there, to be perfectly honest. Who knows if anything's still there outside? I'm joking, of course. Twisty twisty. Let's unloop this for a sec. I think that gradient is more subtle than I thought it was going to be, but it is pretty. I think I might need to open up my petal swirls a little bit. It's starting to get a little bit tight and a bit high, maybe. What do you guys think? And as I mentioned with the class, I have made some adaptations to this one from the original that we do first off in the class. So that will hopefully show you guys how adaptable these skills can be. You know, you're not just sort of set into doing one rose from your skills, really. I think with a little imagination you can really make them your own. Like these ones over here. So all of these, I don't know whether you guys have seen these before, all of these are the same chiffon rose technique. See, these two look quite similar, but these ones look quite different. And then this one is not in chiffon, but is using the same style. So you can get a variety of effects using this one technique. And I talk in much more detail towards the end of the chiffon rose class about the adaptations that you can make. Sure, you can probably see from this one that the petals are much deeper, which is obviously to do with the way that I cut this piece. Which was intentional. I did want it to sit quite high, make a bit more of it. This one, as I was scaling it up anyway. Generally speaking, I have been using silk chiffon more than polyester, which I do think makes a little bit of a difference, but if you've just got polyester chiffon to work with, that by no means is lesser. It will just be a slightly different finish. It will move in a slightly different way. and that may be exactly what you're after. That's absolutely fine. Pepper Wanchan. No, I don't treat the edges to stop them fraying. I actually quite like if it frays a little bit. I think that it sort of gives it a bit of character and makes it look a little bit more vintagey. But that is my personal preference on that front. And it is kind of one of the things that you can do with adaptations that you can make. So, like obviously these two guys here, I did fray the edges purposefully, as with these ones down here. I kept them a little bit cleaner, and they do fray a little bit, but you know, you're not forcing it. But if you wanted a cleaner finish, yes, you could definitely treat the edges. For me, it's one of the choices that I make by using the chiffon in the first place, is that I sort of expect it to fray. I have also got a little exclusive that I can share with you today, if you like. Let me know if you want to see a little bit of a secret that we haven't released anywhere else yet. So I can tell you what next week's class is going to be. Maybe if you could just give me a heart or a thumbs up or something in the comments, then let me know if you are up for seeing that whilst you're here. Teresa Rivas asking, what kind of ink do you use? I haven't used any ink in this one. Do you mean the colour of the fabric? In which case, this was a pre-dyed Ombre chiffon that I purchased in London some years ago. But yeah, if that's not what you meant, do let me know, and I'll try and answer the question better if I have got the wrong end of the stick there. Yes, 54 Chore. You're looking fun to going to the fabric shops again. I know, it never seemed such a luxury, did it? Who knows, right? And then now it's one of those things, isn't it, when it's taken away. But I have to say, there are a few good places online that are still open and for purchasing fabrics. So, you know, if you are stuck for fabric, then do check those out. I'm sure they will help you out. In the meantime, I think it's one of those things though, isn't it? I've always steered away from purchasing fabrics online because so much of it is about the feel, isn't it? And online, you obviously can't feel the fabric. I'm sure you guys are probably like me and being quite tactile and liking to handle your things before you purchase. So I guess, yeah, I can't say that I have much before this period purchased fabrics online, but as I say, there are some options should you need it if you are running low. However, I feel like most of the community, which I'm sort of hopefully flattering myself a little bit by saying I think I know you guys. If you're anything like me, you've probably been stashing away fabrics for years. I mean, how many of us are guilty of that? But since we're in at home and just using whatever we've got, I'm starting to get through with those things, and starting to make use of the older pieces, and actually revisiting things and being like, oh, I remember making a top out of that. Oh, that was nice, and I'll make something new out of it, and then, you know, adding a new memory to that fabric type. So that's kind of cool. A little bit of nostalgia. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like it's coming out quite nicely now. I think this petal section needs to tuck in a little bit more, but I've started to put some fullness into my stitching as well, which is obviously starting to make a difference to these outer layers. So that's cool. Right, I can see loads of you guys have given me a thumbs up, which I think was in reference to seeing my little Easter egg, my little exclusive treat for you guys. So yeah, as I say, we haven't announced this anywhere what next week's class is going to be, and so for I think it's 14 or 15 of you who are joining me live, you are the very first to know. So thank you for being here today. This is my little treat for you. You ready? It's going to be a flower, but I think you'll agree it's quite a treat. These are the organdy roses, which do have to be made in organdy, like most of the other flowers that I have shared with you up until this point have been quite adaptable. This one does need to be made out of organdy for it to come out this way. But yeah, this is what we're going to be learning in next Friday. We'll release it on Friday in the class. Let me know what you think. Are you excited to make an organdy rose? I think they're one of the most realistic of the silk flowers that we teach. And I say silk flowers by meaning fabric flowers, because obviously this is cotton organdy. But anyway, I go into much more detail about that in the class itself, and I'm sure you guys will enjoy that. Look at the little bud on the inside. I think it's really cute. Yeah, and it comes on wire, so you can. It's really easy to attach onto things. I've had it like sitting on the side of my desk, hooked over the top of my computer, which is why it's got the curve in it at the moment. Yeah, I think they're great. I think they're great for hair, actually. Yeah, I remember I wore a lot of these last summer because I have quite textured hair, and you know you need something if you're going to put something in your hair. I think that if you've got textured hair, it's got a bit of like body to it. It's got a bit of like it can stand on its own, is what I'm saying, against the curls. Yay! You guys seem to be excited about that. Good, I'm glad. I will get busy on Monday finishing that off for you guys and getting it all ready in the course of next week. So yeah, next Friday will be the day for the organdy roses. That class, Pepper Wanchan, that will be £10 again for the class itself. There will be kits to go along with that one, because as I say, you do need really to use cotton organdy for it to turn out quite like that, although I'm sure you guys, once you've mastered the techniques, will try it in some other fabrics, other things that you've got, and we would be super interested to see how that goes and what differences it makes, because we know that you are actually really good at taking it and making it your own, and that's what excites us, as well as the teaching of the initial skills. So I already am looking forward to seeing what you guys will do with it, but we'll have to hang on a little bit longer, because this is the lace applique week, or weekend, which, as I mentioned, we launched yesterday. And there's another beautiful couture skill that we've got to keep alive. It's our responsibility. Keep these skills alive. Robin Dickens Horsley. Yeah, there will be kits to go along with that one. As I said, we need to finish off with those. It's not all quite in place just yet, as this is just a sneak peek, and I didn't actually think that I was going to do this today. No mind, share a sneak peek, but that is just for you guys. All the details will follow next week when we launch fully, and then all the links will be there for you guys to use. I'm sure it will be a similar sort of setup, with the class being £10, of course, and then the kits probably being similar to what our other kits have been as well. You're enjoying the birds? Yes. I have to say, I do really love the sound of the birds in the background. For those of you who haven't joined me before, I usually sit in our conservatory, because the light is nice here. I hope you guys... Oh, I'm getting a bit out of shot there, aren't I? Sorry. Yeah, the light's pretty good in here, and it's nice and gentle on my eyes, as well as for you guys to be able to see clearly what I'm doing. And it's got warm this afternoon, so I have got the door open. Hence how the sound of the birds are tweeting away. I'm very lucky to live near some really beautiful woodlands, like really old-looking, gnarly treed woodlands, and they're just great. And obviously, a massive perk of that is the birds that live there. Although, I think that was a crow or something. That was not so pretty, was it? Sorry about that, guys. Really, the birds are showing me up now. Oh, there he is again. Can you hear that? Just the way, it's like they can hear me. It's like they can understand me. What are the chances? There he goes. We used to have a magpie, actually, that you would come and tap against the windows. And I don't know whether you ever guys have had that, wherever you live. But yeah, they just come and tap on the window. We were just like, what do you want? Their beaks are quite sharp and quite long, you know. It's a little bit intimidating. Luckily, there was the window between us. But he did it a lot. Ah, Pepper Wanshan. So you're sharing it with your daughter. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, that's really great, and does very much play into the keeping the skills alive thing, because that is really important. It's really important to us, definitely. Yeah. I've always made quite a lot of things with my mum. We've been doing these makes on the weekends, so that she's been making things that I've been teaching too. But we've always made a lot of things together. And she's definitely inspired my love of craft and making things, and she's very skilled herself, which is always wonderful. I think she might... Is she currently... Yeah, she's currently crocheting a beautiful handbag. Robin Dickens Horsley. Yeah, well, all of the classes, the full classes, that is, are available on our website, which is londonembroideryschool.com. When you go there, and you can obviously purchase the class, or if you're looking for the Valentino class, that one is free, but the system is the same for all of them, all the same. So yeah, you purchase the class. There's a little taster on there, so you can have a little look at what we do in the class and decide if it's for you. And then once you've made your purchase, the website very cleverly sends you the link to the full class, and then you can watch it whenever you want. Doesn't matter what time it is, or if you're in the UK or not, doesn't matter. So no, you don't have to join us for a live class by any means. The classes are online, and then once you've purchased it and got your link, you can watch it as many times as you want. It doesn't, yeah, there's no limit on that. So if you want to pause me partway through and carry on doing a bit, or if you need to go and make tea or bath the kids, or you just, I don't know, make one and then don't use it for 6 months, and then you want to come back and have a little refresher, I'll still be there. I'll still be waiting to do the class again with you. So, yeah, don't feel that you are restricted by time. Because we hope we've taken that element away from it altogether. Oh, it does look like I'm gonna, because that's my end. Whoop. Sorry, I'll show you. Yeah, that's the end. So I will get this one finished in my time with you guys. And as I say, to those of you who are new to us, if you don't know anything about us, that's not a problem. If you don't know if you want to purchase a class from us, that Valentino Rose class is there. You can use it just to try us out. You know, if you're not sure if you'll like our teaching style, which is, similar to this sort of thing, I'm quite casual. I think you'll probably say that, yeah, you can try that one first, see if you like it. If you don't, no worries. We hope that you learn a little something from us all the same. And if you do, then you might be interested in some of the other classes that we do. So, all the options are yours. Envisaman, hi. Oh, hello again. Nice to see you again. Don't worry if you missed the beginning. I will be posting this to the story, to the live story, that is. So if you missed the beginning, then I'll put that up there. You can watch from the beginning and then, cut me off when you get to the bit that you've already seen, if you like. And that will obviously be up for the next 24 hours. Need a new thread again. Ah, Crystal Ingle. Oh, hi. It's another name I recognise. I feel like it's a little bit of a meet-up now when we're doing these. I get to recognise the names and you guys come along and I'm like, oh, I'm getting to feel like I know you. You've got your lace applique class. Good. Excellent. I really hope you enjoy it. I think it's a really lovely one and I'm sure you will find lots of use for it. It's, one of those classic techniques that once you can apply those skills to lots of other things that aren't necessarily lace, but it's just an approach that I think is an important thing. And as I always say, time spent learning a new skill is never time wasted. Whether you get to use that skill straight away or not, it's there in the bank, isn't it? Just for you. Oh yeah. Sorry, did that come out of focus for a bit there? I don't know what was happening. Maybe I got too close to the camera with my left hand there. It might have messed things up a little bit, but can you see that all alright again? So you can really see the changing colours coming through now. That is really quite pretty. I am intending to pop this one in the post. I don't know whether you saw my Instagram post last week about the Valentino roses being particularly good for posting, just because if you're working in the chiffon or in an organza, they squash down really flat for the post, which is obviously important, but more importantly, they spring back up again really well. To say, next week's class, the Organdy Roses one, the yellow one I just showed you, that one will probably not be quite so useful for that. If you are intending to share your makes with somebody who you aren't currently living with. But this one you can see, as I'm talking about it, I keep squashing it down with my hand and it just pops right back up again. So I'm pretty confident that this is going to last in the post very well. And also just looping back, we really do appreciate you guys' support at the moment, and always, of course, but particularly at the moment. You know, it does mean an awful lot to us. And yeah, that's why we've got the Valentino Rose class up for free all the same. But you know, if you are one of those people who hasn't got a lot of disposable income at the moment, and you are wanting to get involved, do maybe, you know, and if you aren't in a position to be buying other classes or whatever, it's also really great if you can just share what we're doing with somebody else you think might enjoy the Valentino Rose class, for example, or any of the other classes, if that is the situation that you find yourself in. You know, just sharing the information about us and that they might like it is also really valid support that we would also hugely appreciate. As the hashtag ValRose challenge is still going on. If you want to show us your Valentino roses that you've made, or in fact any of your makes, do tag us in those. We love to see them. Oh, Shannon Shock, you went in on the beginning. Don't worry, I'm going to post the whole video to our live story a little bit later on, so if you do want to loop back to see the beginning, that's absolutely fine. My ground fabric is just a polycotton in this red polycotton that I've got. I just thought it'd be subtle colour-wise. So nothing really special. You can use whatever you like as your ground fabric. And actually what I might do is start to, again, I'm not sure if I will finish that in the time that I have with you guys today, but I'm probably going to start to tuck it under because I do want this rose to be freestanding. As I say, I intend to pop it in the post, so I think it would be nicer if it's just a freestanding piece. Okay. Popping my last couple of stitches in there. I'm getting a bit out of screen again, aren't I? Oops, getting overexcited with what I'm doing. Okie doke. So, that is me done with my stitching. Pepper One Chan, yes, the ombre is pretty, isn't it? Yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. Hold on, I'm just going to pop it out off the seat frame so I can have a little look and show you guys some different angles as well, I think. Yeah, that's come out quite nice. I'm pleased with that. Okay. Yeah, this is the original fabric again. So you can sort of see the different tones in it. It goes to almost like a purple, which is nice, really nice. And it did go to a bright orange, but I've already used the bright orange off the far end. Never mind. Yeah, pretty. Okay, let's get this out of the frame. And I'm going to, I don't know whether you guys can probably see my slippers. Sharing a bit more than I intended. Okay. Let's get rid of the frame. Just that's a little image of the back there, as you can see. So do try and keep your stitches as even as you can. Make tidy. Okay, so need to just cut away. Let's make some space. First off, so what I'm going to do now is to try and take away some of the excess. I'm just going to grab a pencil because I forgot that. Stay there, I'll be back. I'm back. Did you miss me? Okay. So I'm just going to mark myself a little border, probably of like 4 or 5 millimeters around my stitching. So this is a finishing technique that we call tucking under. There is a pro tips video on the YouTube, our YouTube channel, London Embroidery School, on how to do this as well. It's one of the free pro tips that we've got on there if you want to check it out, because I just want it to look like the rose is entirely freestanding, and that's hopefully what I will achieve by doing this. On the one that's on our YouTube channel, I think I talk about the skirt, the sort of distance outside your embroidery stitching, as being a little bit less than 4 or 5 millimeters. It is proportional to your piece. This is a slightly larger piece than the one that I do on that explanation video. So I've given myself a little bit more space today because I've got this bigger piece. And the great thing about this is, as well as it therefore being ready to be a freestanding piece, it also finishes your base fabric so that that can't fray. And it gives you something to stitch onto. So if you were stitching your rose onto a garment or a handbag or a fascinator or whatever, then you can just put your stitching through the tucked under base fabric and leave your fabric, your embroidery fabric, free. See, that looks a lot better already, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm going to need some more threads. It's got a slightly longer piece. It was a bit mean. Didn't realise that this was going to turn into a tucking under video, but that's the way it's gone today. Again, not quite sure I'm going to make it through to the end of this one, as I've got just over 10 minutes till Instagram's going to kick me off. But we'll see how we go. Oops. So I'm going to come in a little bit closer. One sec. Just rearrange my body. Oh, see, that's why I shouldn't rearrange my body, isn't it? There we go. I think that's a bit better. Can you see that a bit better? Okay. So I'm just folding back that base fabric, catching onto the base fabric in the middle, and then just using little tucks to gather it in. Because the circumference of our cut is going to be greater than the circumference of the piece when we've finished, we are going to create some areas of suppression, and so we are going to have to gather it in a little bit as we go along. Every now and then you might need to put an extra stitch in somewhere just to hold that in place. So just using the feel of where the chiffon starts to decide where to fold back from. So hopefully this last edge of the chiffon should just pop out over the top. And hide the red base layer fabric pretty much altogether. Like almost everything with embroidery, it's just gently, gently. So look. Yeah, it's looking pretty effective, I think. Keep going. Have you guys seen this video from us before? Of this technique? Have you managed to use it anywhere? Did you find it useful at all? For making some of your embroideries freestanding? We don't want you to be restricted by your base fabric, that's no fun. Just make sure you keep your stitches really shallow, so you don't want to come through too deep into the right side of your fabric. I just need tucking in a little bit of raw edge that's escaping where I finished off. So just being led a little bit by when I fold the fabric, how's it wanting to fall? Trying to just do what it wants to do, basically. It's a little bit easier if you don't fight with it too hard. Just go with what it wants to do, within the realms of what you want it to do, of course. Until I'm concentrating hard. Gone really quiet now, haven't I? Sorry, guys. Oh, I pulled out my thread. Probably a sign that I need a new thread. All the same, it's getting a bit short. anchor it again, as always. Keep stitching. So coming round just to the end here, still just catching and tucking that in. Oh, missed that one. We need to come back a little bit there. There we go. Last couple of stitches. Okey-doke. Yep. Let's tie it off. So now that should stay pretty tidy, and like if you were to stitch this onto a garment, you can then use this little lip that you've created to stitch that onto your piece, and that will hide the base fabric pretty much all together. And there we go. It's my finished rose. Probably needs just a little bit of tweaking here and there. Might give it a little haircut in some places. Bits that are looking a little too wild for my liking, but I do like a little bit of fray, so I tend to just shorten them rather than get rid of them altogether. There we go. What do you think? Do you like? Are you excited to make your own now? I'm pretty pleased with how that has come out. I quite like that it's a little bit deeper than previous. Yeah, I think it looks sweet. Thanks you guys for joining me today. I'm gonna have to finish up now, and thank you so much for all your comments and your support. It really does mean a lot, and your encouragement really does help me along in doing these things. As long as you're enjoying them, then we will try and keep doing them for you. Yeah, if you want to see more from us, obviously head over to the London Embroidery School Instagram for regular pictures. Obviously we have the new YouTube channel where we're adding stuff all the time, and as I say, there's more online classes coming, as you guys seem to be liking them, so we're going to keep making them whilst you seem to be liking them, and hopefully you will enjoy them. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a real treat. I'm going to say bye for now.